Hi, everyone. My name is Kirk Bachman, and welcome back to The Ultimate Dish. In today's episode, we're speaking with Kareen Chef Coco Linton, an Escoffier Chef Instructor with 30 years of experience. Chef Coco is a recipient of multiple awards, including Disciple d'Escoffier, the National Cutting Edge Award by the American Culinary Federation, and Top 100 Leaders in Education Award by the Global Forum for Education and Learning. She graduated from the Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts and later became founder and CEO of A Dash of Coco. She was the first female named as second VP of the ACF Atlanta Chefs Association and also received their Humanitarian of the Year 2015 award. Join us today as we chat with Chef Coco about her trailblazing culinary journey, her love of fashion and food, and how she opens doors for the next generation. And there she is. Welcome, Chef. How are you?
Thank you so much, Chef. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you.
This is super fun. You're smiling. I'm smiling. I'm exhausted from the intro. Okay. Can I just say there's a lot going on. So cutting edge, I'm going to ask you to speak to that. I see a beautiful encased knife just over your shoulder with the ACF logo. So talk a little bit about that real quick. We're gonna talk about all the accolades today. You're gonna be smiling for the next half hour. Can you tell us about that knife?
Sure. First of all, I want to say hello to everyone out there in podcast land.
I love it. I love it.
Well, this knife right here, it is the National ACF, which stands for American Culinary Federation, Cutting Edge Award, number 6, by the way. So
okay.
I was honored with it back in 2015. And to be honest with you, I thought they made a mistake when
Stop.
they sent me the email because they said you're nominated.
Okay.
And coming from working within the entertainment industry, when you're nominated, like for, a music award, it's you and a few other people. I actually thought it was for certified master chef Daryl Schuler.
Okay.
And then he confirmed it was actually mine. But you just go. I just went. And I thought it was some other people being nominated, and they called my name, and I wasn't paying attention at the time. And someone said, "That's you." So
Go get it. I love it.
I was honored for it.
And tell me, cutting edge. So it recognizes your contributions to the industry that are innovative and above and beyond. Okay.
Exactly. I am a chef, but also a fashion designer, stylist. That was my prior life. It's still with me in the entertainment industry.
That doesn't go away. Yeah.
It does not. It's like riding a bike.
Absolutely. Is there something special? We're going to get to the book in a minute, but I know you must feel this. I know I do. And I need a lot more help. So we're going to talk fashion in a minute, but there is something about putting on a beautifully starched, clean chef coat before you, whether you go into the dining room, into the classroom, to an event, to an ACF conference. Is there any feeling that's better than that, prouder than that?
It's a great feeling. I don't know if I tell you what, when you put on that chef coat and you're going out to meet a guest that's enjoying the food that was prepared by you.
Yeah, that's the
and
ultimate.
they're so honored, that you came to their table. I learned about visiting the tables when I worked at Windows on the World, former Windows on the World, on top of the World Trader.
Wow.
Trade Center.
It's an interesting, it's a whole nother podcast. You just reminded me too that, this age of the celebrity chef, right? Which, let's say over the last 2 decades, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Emerald and others, right? Chefs really, you have to love your customers, right? More than anything. And you have to be comfortable in your chef coat out in the dining room because they want to see you, right?
They want to see you.
I love that.
I actually brought fashion with me. I tapered my chef coats. You know what I mean? They need to fit.
Yeah.
properly, because we're still fashionable. That's
And
how
be
I see it.
and be comfortable, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Like on the website, gorgeous, gorgeous jacket. So are you
thank you.
working with a vendor or are you designing your own chef coats now?
Actually, I was receiving another award back in 2019.
Okay.
So, Lucian, the
Oh,
CEO,
new chef.
yes,
Yeah.
Lucian
Oh,
from New Chef Fashions, he saw my social media about the award, and he reached out and said, Kareen, I think you should give me a call. I would love to do a chef coat for you. So when we finally spoke, I said, under one condition. He said, what's that? I said, I design it. He didn't know was a designer. And we talked about doing it in sequin. Because really, a chef coat is what we used to call a Mandarin style jacket.
sure.
That's basically what it is. So I took that and I played with it. But the reason for the sequence, there were three different versions of it, because I truly believe, like we chefs do in this industry, nothing goes to waste. Nothing should have one purpose. That's
Yeah.
also my Caribbean upbringing, right?
Yeah.
So the sequin part, I always loved Diana Ross. So
Okay. All
I
right.
would wear the sequin jackets when I'm doing certain presentations, but I also had the same jacket done in cotton for the back of the house.
Sure. Sure.
It's entertainment, you know?
Such a great story. What a wonderful company and a great man.
Oh,
I've
he's
known him
awesome.
for years. Yeah, really, really
Yes.
neat. So before we, oh my gosh, I just keep getting sidetracked because there's so much stuff. How does a girl from Barbados fall into fashion and cooking and style and entertainment? Was it something and becoming an author? Was it something you dreamed of as a girl? And then you moved to Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, yeah.
I would, what I remember is when I was about 5 years old, I had a dream. And the dream showed me what I believe that in my 5 year old mind was America, right?
That's
Little
beautiful.
glimpses.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mentioned it to my Aunt Day, who you'll read about, and she said, you could be and do anything you want to. I had the audacity at that age to believe her. So I've been moving and looking for this thing ever since. I was always very inquisitive. I'm the middle child, so I've learned how to play by myself and use my imagination. So, but as far as designing, her, uh, they, I hate using the word stepchild or stepdaughter. Her daughter was a designer.
Mhm.
No patterns. I mean, made anything, gorgeous outfits. And she also crocheted and all of that. That was one influence. The other influence was her son. He was an artist by every sense of the word. So he would draw nude bodies of women or landscapes. And my brother and I would take our little notebook paper, sit on the floor, and replicate it. I moved towards the shape of the body.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
did more landscapes. And believe it or not, I realized both of them were perfect teachers for me.
Yeah. So the
So
teaching started early.
very early.
It's such a neat story. So take me back. You're 5 when you
Mhm.
relocate to New York. Still,
No, actually, I was 9 when I came to New York.
oh wow. So
Yeah.
still very young, impressionable, right?
Mhm.
What does New York mean to you? What does Brooklyn mean to you?
Oh my gosh, everything. Brooklyn, New York is where I took everything and cooked and started cooking up the
Yeah,
stew, right, that I'm living right now.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so Brooklyn is family, culture, the
Diversity.
world.
It's busy. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah. Totally agree.
yes.
Well, let's not delay any longer. I got an email from you early this morning letting me know that
Mhm.
something was available, right?
Yes.
So this is your platform, Chef. Let's hear it. You've been working on it for a long time, right?
Yes, I've been working on it for a few years, and I am officially an author now.
Bravo,
Thank you
bravo.
so much. And I've chosen the ultimate dish to inform everyone. So,
Announce it. Yes.
yes,
Wonderful.
dish,
Wonderful.
get that punt dish. We use dish in several ways here. Okay.
Oh my God. So
So,
the name of the book is Turn Your Sours into Sweets. It's available on
yes,
Amazon by Chef Coco. Tell me about it. The title is fascinating. My mind wanders, but it's not a recipe book, right?
it's not a recipe book, but of course, I'm a chef. And to me, what I've learned on my journey from a student culinarian, was to appreciate the techniques, but
Mm-hmm.
more so
Mm-hmm.
understand the ingredients so that you can manipulate them to higher heights. So there's that saying, when life throws you lemons, make lemonade. As a chef, I'm not just making lemonade, darling. All right. We use everything within it. So the journey hasn't always been smooth, but like a knife, every so often you have to be sharpened. And to me, that's the journey I took, so that now I can sit back and reach out to many people, students, but I use my life to let them see anything really is possible. Like my aunt said, you just have to believe and work towards it. So hence the name of the book. But overall, it's about Kareen taking all of life's ingredients and flipping them, because it's about serving other people. And that's what we chefs do.
Hospitality. Do you have to become incredibly vulnerable when you open up, if you will, and start sharing? It's not a pamphlet, it's a book.
It's a book.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
And it's not even all of it. But yes, in doing the book, it took me back.
Okay.
It took me back in several different ways, seven different places. And now I can really truly appreciate them, because and I use a lot of food analogies. Think about being in a pressure cooker, the pot. There
Mm-hmm.
were times I was in the pressure cooker, but I refused to give up, because
Mm-hmm.
I still feel there's greater. And because of that belief, I can sit here with you right now, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and talk about this.
You're at peace. You're in a good
Oh,
place. I
at
really,
peace.
really like that. Really like that.
Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about I don't want to get off this fashion chat
Mhm.
just yet. We've talked about how amazing it feels to be in a beautiful chef coat and what that means and the history behind the chef coat.
Yes.
And I'm really interested in your perspective of bringing food and fashion together. I mean, if is there a series in the making here? Like, if this was Hollywood, what would the pitch be? Food and fashion.
Well, food is your vehicle. We all need it. And fashion too, right? So food is fashionable. When we prepare food, we're thinking about the people we're serving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who's coming to have this food? When people go out to dinner, especially women, we get dressed, right? We're not just going to eat the food, we're sashaying into that restaurant because we're modeling this attire.
It's about the event. Yeah, the
It's the
experience.
event,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
experience. That's why I say this is entertainment that we do.
I love that. And so couple that with your upbringing, Barbados to Brooklyn, the lessons you learned, the drawing, watching your aunt. What parts of that journey? What's the lesson? And maybe it's in the book. What's the lesson that you believe will resonate the most with young culinarians, and why? A lot has gone on in the last several years.
Mhm.
The industry has changed primarily due to the pandemic, but we could even suggest that the industry started changing, a
Absolutely.
decade ago, right? For
Yes.
the better, everything for the
Yes.
better, right? So how does your vision resonate with the next generation, which is so important to you, of culinarians?
The word that I continue to hear, whether physically being told or in a message, you are inspirational. I constantly hear that. And I just really want to live to see what my purpose is. And I'm there. I enjoy the journey. And that's what I want people to understand. It's a journey, no matter what you're doing. But within it, you have to know that it's a process and appreciate the process every step of the way.
Yeah. Well,
Smile if you can. You know what I mean?
well said. So, when I think about and I read about you and how important it is for you to feel connected to the industry and the success of others,
Right.
that resonated well with me. It's so explain that. Why is the success? It's a true teacher, a great
Mhm.
characteristic of a teacher,
Wow.
right? Caring
Yeah.
about the success of your students, or a parent, right, of your
Right.
children. So talk about that a little bit. Why is that so important to you?
It's extremely important. This is in the book too. I was a teenage mom at 16. So you
Okay.
talk about nurturing, right? I nurtured my daughter. I
Mhm.
wanted her to have the best possible experience, period, right? So when we have guests, whether it's someone coming to our establishment to dine, or if they're coming to your home, or even if it's students, first of all, I need to show them that I care. That's what hospitality is, right? And then whatever it is that you're doing for them, let them see your passion within it, because your passion overflows and they can be filled with that alone. So when they go to have the meal, what you imparted into that dish has no boundaries. They will feel it,
Yeah,
right? So you embrace people with the food, if that's what your platform is, because everyone has a different platform,
that's
but
powerful. That's
that's mainly
powerful.
what it's about.
So many, let's talk about you for a minute. Lots of accolades, lots of recognition, lots of love. And I, as well as anyone, know, in order to receive recognitions, it's give get, right? You've
Yes.
given a lot of yourself. You don't receive um a nomination or recognition by the ACF for not giving back. So you've um, selected by Smithfield Foods and the American Culinary Federation as one of 40 chefs nationwide for their Partners in Culinary Excellence
Mhm.
program. Can you talk about that a little bit? I love the title,
That
Partners in
again,
Culinary Excellence. Yeah.
yes, that again kind of shocked me. You have to understand, I'm really just this little girl from Barbados who dared to dream. And many times you just kind of watch the dream as a viewer. I'm living that dream
Yeah.
and I want to share it. So when I received that email, again, I thought they made a mistake, you know? So I love being on a journey and have or receive what I call little kisses from God, because I didn't set out to get to achieve any accolades. I just really wanted to understand what my purpose here is, and then reach out to others to help them along their journey. I believe that's what I'm supposed to do.
Is that the Partners in Culinary Excellence program? Is that through the ACF? Is that a formal
That's
program?
it's a combination of ACF and Smithfield. They joined together
Okay. Okay.
to do this. So they selected the 40, and actually it was like going into COVID. So you kind of, they pulled it back. But basically what it is, you could, based on their food, use their food to do presentations around the country.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. First female named New Chef Elite by New Chefs. first woman sworn in as the second VP of the ACF Atlantis chapter.
Yeah.
You've also sat on the ACF Atlanta Board of Directors. You're part of other professional organizations like we call it WAX, World
Right.
Association of Chef Societies, Le Chien, Disciples of Escoffier. Chef, when it comes to representation, as you know, historically, the kitchen has been a male-dominant environment, but over the years, in our lifetime, we've seen that change drastically. Case in point, Escoffier's student population is 60% female to 40% male. What does is it important that you're the first female named, or is it equally important that you were just named?
Both of them are honors, which again, totally caught me by surprise. But I feel both of them are great because, and it's not about being first. I just feel they need to see what it looks like because it's achievable for them. They may not do it the same way I did it, but it's achievable. Back in March, and I'm sure we'll talk about this too, but I was in Dubai to do a keynote. And it's just so incredible how the world is so large, but it's so small. So as I'm doing the keynote, I reached, speaking to the audience, I asked one audience member to describe a dish the way she would make it. And I'm standing there holding the mic, looking at her. And in my mind, I'm saying, she reminds me of me. And then I said, wow, you described that so beautiful. You have all of our mouth salivating. And she said, I learned it from you, chef. So I looked at her. She was one of my students online here at Escoffier School of Culinary Arts.
Oh my goodness.
She was over there to receive an award also.
Isn't that something? So how does that feel does it validate the work that you put in?
Yes, but to be honest with you, I'm not looking at the work. I'm just having a good time. That little girl, whenever I have a dream, I'm living it out because I want to prove to myself and maybe the, Most High, it's possible.
I love the word you used earlier, inspiration. In my mind, you've got inspiration and you've got motivation. Both are great, right? Motivation sort of makes somebody do something, but inspiration makes somebody feel something.
Yes.
And that to me is beautiful and really important. What would you say to, a young culinarian, up and coming talent? What are some general recommendations, like game-changing recommendations that you would give without letting, everything out of the hat? But are there some go-tos for you? Like, remember this, don't forget that.
To all culinarians, especially the young ones, I'm going to share with you with my mentor, World Certified Master Chef Raymond Pitts shared with me.
Because
when I crossed over into the world of culinary, I was 46 and felt a little on the old side. And he said to me, hone your skills and network. So you do have to physically do both. You can hone your skills, all of them. And Chef Pitts, he's serious about his business. So one thing I didn't want to let him down or my other mentor, Joe Hardiman, down.
No one wants to let Raymond down, can I just say? And he's serious, period, right?
Yes.
A true professional. Yeah.
But the other part of it that I feel as a chef, you have to know that you are the CEO of you. As the CEO, you need to know how to market yourself also. And that's what he imparted into me.
Great advice. I'm going to take it back a little further. So fast forward beyond your education, you spent some time working with a good friend of mine at Le Cordon Bleu in Atlanta, and you did some work with their career services team, which is so important, right? It's kind of
Yes.
the end of the journey, but the beginning of the new journey. Um, any cool stories that really stay with you from that time where you saw somebody just do what you envisioned for them?
Oh my gosh. My students, all of them, past and present, but at Le Cordon Bleu, I think we connected because they knew I also was an alumni. I
Mhm.
was in their shoes. I sat in the chairs. And I wanted to give them such an experience. So we talked about ACF, American Culinary Federation. I went to every meeting. So when I went up to Atlantis campus, Terrell Anthony was there. He was my boss, and under certified master chef Daryl Schuler, another mentors. I said to Chef Schuler, I go to the meetings. I said, would you mind if I took my students with me? And
Oh,
he
wow.
said, oh, that'd be great. So it was an outing for them. But these culinary students, just like here, at the end of the program, they go out on externship. You need to come out the kitchen sometimes, and you need to meet potential employers. So I taught them how to see themselves as not just a chef, but the person that's going out to market themselves. Their uniforms had to be a certain way because these are potential opportunities for you. And what I asked them, when they returned back to class the next day, they needed to have no less than 3 business cards. And they needed to be in a picture with me there. That's how I took attendance.
I love
So
it.
if you, yeah,
I love that. I was just going to comment on it's really obvious that advancing your career as a chef, right, as an industry professional, um, that networking and building relationships is
yes,
really important to you. And it seems like you're very good at it, and you seem to thrive there. So you started to answer this question. What is it about professional associations? Number one, number two, number three, that partners with career advice for students. Just emphasizing how important those
yes.
relationships are. Is that something that you just fell into? You're in culinary school. Who helped you down that path to understand the importance of professional organizations, which stick with you today?
Yeah. Well, like I said before, I came from working within entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I watched entertainers stand on stage and command in such a subliminal way the audience. I learned from that era how to market. And I felt it's important because no matter what industry you're in, marketing exists.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the associations was perfect because I needed to see what this looks like.
Okay.
So I went to the people that was already living it to hear their stories, to get advice from them. No matter what industry you're in, you should have a mentor.
Absolutely. The
You should have a
social
mentor.
the social piece is great too, right?
Yes, because you're breaking out of your shell,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And you can gain ideas.
So currently you're considered a prominent mentor within our Escoffier family and our community. Um, what is it that you this is a tough question. What is it that you hope aspiring culinarians understand when they take your class? Is it important for them to stay in their lane, or are you asking them to look over in the other lane? Because one, you're their teacher, right? So they have a responsibility, but you're kind of looking out for their future. How do you manage that?
I manage that in this way. Like I said, I share with them first and foremost, I had to learn that I'm the CEO of me, right? So you can stay in your lane, which you should, but you can always look to the side. You need to look to the side because you can learn from those people. And then you can also see he's coming up behind you, right? Because some of the people that's coming up with you can actually encourage and inspire you. It's like iron sharpens iron. So I, being on this platform, I've lived that life.
Mhm.
I believe you should go forth because you didn't just come into this industry, like I tell them, just to cook food. It's
Yep.
so much more than that.
It's so much more. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, speaking of your role as a CEO, you're the founder and the CEO of A Dash of Coco,
Mhm.
which from what I can tell encompasses much more than just cooking, right? It's an
Yeah.
interior design, it's fashion, it's styling. There's so much information on the website. It's hospitality, it's event planning, um, it's a lifestyle brand, right?
Right.
What in your words, what was the vision of A Dash of Coco? What's it all about? And what do you want people to say about A Dash of Coco once they visit?
The vision for Dash of Coco was simply, like you said, a lifestyle. I brought the two things that I love together, right? The dash, relating back to food, we put a little dash of something in it. When you put a little dash of something in it, you're kicking it up because
Oh, I
that's all
like
you
that.
need,
Okay.
just a little
Okay.
bit to take
Yeah.
it. The cocoa, if we're relating to food, we know what cocoa is, but if there's a flavor profile within that. And when you think of cocoa and you think of chocolate, you don't think of anything sad, right? So you tie them together. Like I said, as a chef, my fashion background allowed me to envision presentations or platings. The plate is simply just a canvas for this artist to create something incredible out of my mind. The fashion did the same thing. A dress is simply fabric molded or shaped with ornamentations on it. So every dress maybe needs a little airing. The plate has a little garnish,
Little
and
garnish.
that's how I relate it. So it gives them the full presentation of beautiful creativity on a plate.
The passion is so obvious. I just love it. You've been smiling since you got on. Um, so many accomplishments. Congratulations, chef. Honestly,
Thank you.
we know about the book. What's next? Thank you for the work that you do with our Escoffier students. Don't you dare go anywhere. And and the book, is there a series of books, or when you're kind of looking over in the other lane, what's next for Coco?
Well, I'm actually there. Not just the book. Last year, I started doing speaking engagements.
I've
And even
noticed that.
though with
Yeah.
COVID, just like Mr. Larson had this vision to do online school, Zoom became very popular for speakers. So I was approached by a company in India named Forethought India, and they wanted me to be one of the guest chefs on a podcast. So I did that. Unbeknownst to me, they said that there all 9 regions of India was represented. 2 days later, I received an email saying, Kareen, there was Scotland, England, the Philippines, people represent from these countries. And I said, God, you took me international in an hour? Oh, it's on. I'm an international speaker. You speak it and move with it. And as far as the speaking part, one of my former colleagues, who's also a colleague here, Miriam Guillory in Career Services, back when I was in Atlanta, I had just completed a food presentation for some guests. She happened to be in the room. When I returned, she said to Career Services, she said, Kareen, I see you doing speaking engagements. It's the way you say mise en place. Now we know mise en place simply means everything in its place. I realized that I had everything in its place to become that little girl. That little girl wants to be seen. She wants to help people. She wants to do all of these things. So now I am a speaker. So when I spoke of Dubai, I was invited to be a keynote speaker in Dubai back in March, and I also received an Outstanding Leadership Award. Before I left for Dubai, the organizers called and said, we love what you're doing. They invited me to speak at the conference in Las Vegas. 2 weeks ago, I received another email from the WIN conference, WYN conferences, their international conferences also invited me to speak, be a keynote speaker in Croatia. So I'm going to, before Croatia, I'm going to New York for the same conference, WIN, to speak to the International Congressional Women's Empowerment Expo 2022. So I'll be in New York in July, and then August to Croatia, speaking on food processing and packaging.
I love it. Full circle, right? How
Complete.
important is that to you that you end up, that little girl ends up back in New York?
I want to tear up right now. Yes.
It's pretty
yes.
obvious how it makes you feel.
Yes. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like the prodigal daughter going home.
I just love that. You deserve all of that.
Thank you.
Before we let you go today, the name of the podcast is The Ultimate Dish. And you've been around the world. You've met a lot of people. I am dying to hear, Coco, what is the ultimate dish?
Oh, wow. Well, in honor of my mom, who's no longer with us, she was actually the chef. And I feel that torch was passed on to me. In honor of my mom and my country, Barbados, I have to represent, we have a national dish named cuckoo and flying fish. And cuckoo, if you know polenta, is sort of like polenta. It's just firm. So my grandmother, my aunts, they would make that. When you think, and my mom, when you think of that, I get the warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? It takes you back home. But besides that, I love roasted duck and sauteed mushrooms.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's no. I love the idea that you started with a childhood memory, though. Those are always the best.
Yeah,
the best
they
dishes,
don't go anywhere.
right? Yeah. It's more about the memories than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Somewhere along the line, as I'm speaking, maybe something I say connect with someone.
Yeah.
To show them they can do it, especially those teenagers. I had a child at 16. I graduated at 17. And I've used, my daughter's my inspiration, even to this day, who's 40 now, so I can continue to live out my dream and want her and all of my ancestors to be proud. But I really want to continue to encourage people to go beyond this thing that we call fair. It's really not there. It's not there. Go on out and just live. And if you can travel, when you travel, even if it's to another state, until you can go further. But I truly believe traveling broadens your horizon, and it takes you on an educational journey like nowhere else. So with food as my vehicle, I can now go out, spread the word, Escoffier, A Dash of Coco, right? And be this author and speaker now to help others.
And also spread your love. And
that too.
We're so fortunate to have you with Escoffier. Our students are fortunate. Thank you for all the work you do, and thank you for the smile.
Thank you. It's been an honor and pleasure.
Absolutely.
See you all somewhere out there in A Dash of Coco land.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Dish podcast, brought to you by Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Visit escoffier.edu/podcast, where you'll find any materials mentioned during the podcast, including notes, links, and other resources. You can also browse other episodes and subscribe.